For the first 44 minutes, the audio comes from a phone mic, so feel free to skip if you don't like it. Welcome to the podcast, Mr.
Thank you.
Bloodflows.
Glad to be here.
Okay, let's begin with the lore. How did you discover Minecraft and Hypixel? As always, we start with the profile.
Oh, the profile. There's
Mhm.
some interesting lore to the profile. So originally, whenever I got Discord back in, I think it was 2020, I was thinking to myself, okay, like what's a good profile picture? So I kind of just like went through like some YouTube videos I was watching, like the creators. I didn't want to have like a cringe, like stereotypical, well, not cringe, but like I didn't want to have the stereotypical like cat profile picture or like anime profile picture or anything like that. So
Yep.
I was like, what's like a kind of funny, wacky little profile? So there's this one YouTuber called Terminal Montage, and he makes these like animations. So this profile, it's cropped kind of badly. Like there's a little bit of an outline with the between like the edge of the circle and the rest of the color of like my profile. But that was because for Christmas season, one of my friends made me like the little Kirby guy with a Christmas hat on, so I swapped it to that. When I was swapping back, I couldn't find just the regular one, so I kind of had to crop it, which is why it's a little bit wacky right now. But originally, it's based off of a character called Kerbo, and he's kind of like a mix of Kirby in like a funny way. So that's why like he has like a weird face, and he's not like exactly like Kirby. But that's the lore off of my
Mm-hmm.
Discord profile
Okay.
picture.
And let's start with
And then
Minecraft.
gotcha. So I used to play Minecraft. Like I can remember playing Minecraft ever since I was like a wee little lad. It was my older brother who first discovered Minecraft, and it was for Pocket Edition actually. So back when I was a kid, I have four siblings, by the way. So as a bit of a context, so my older brother, he downloaded it on his like iPhone. I want to say he had like an iPhone 4, like it was that back in the day. So he downloaded it on his iPhone 4. He started playing it, and then me and all my siblings, we kind of watched him a bit, and we got jealous. So we asked our parents to download it because it's like 7.99, I think. So we didn't have our own money or anything back in that time. So my parents bought it for us, and then we found out that you could actually do you can like make LAN survival worlds where everyone can play on the same server, kind of. So we actually did a lot of like just survival Minecraft back in the day, me and my siblings. And this is a bit of a tangent, but we actually developed our own currency in the game. So basically, it was called Minecraft money. So I would like write up on a little note paper, and it would say something like, "You by owning this, you get 1 diamond from me." And I would give that note to someone in exchange for like them doing like one of my chores or something. So it actually it kind of evolved into like this whole like economy sort of thing. Like it was hilarious
Mm-hmm.
until my parents like didn't like that we were doing each other's chores for Minecraft items and stuff. Because I mean, the older you are, the more you can kind of take advantage of your little siblings, and that was kind of happening. I'll be honest, but
That's
it was fun
awesome.
while it lasted. So we that's how I got into Minecraft. And
Mm-hmm.
then a couple years after that, we had like these Mac computers, and my older brother, he found out about Hypixel, so he bought a Java account because we all had, I think that's what it was, Bedrock. That's on Pocket Edition.
Yeah.
But anyway, he bought a Java account, and then he you know figured out Hypixel, so he logged into that, and we were just like amazed. Like all of me and my siblings were like, "There's no way, bro! You can do like multiplayer battles with other people. That's sick." And then he started doing it. Was he first started playing Bed Wars, and I was just like infatuated with it. And it would get to the point where we would all, because we had just one big like home computer kind of thing, like one Mac for all of us, and there being five of us in total, we would take turns about 1 hour per person, and we'd all do like some Bed Wars. So like I would play an hour, my older brother would play an hour, three younger siblings would play an hour, and eventually after we got another computer, it got to the point where I was like, okay, I'm kind of sick of sharing. So I bought my own account, and I took the account that we all had played on because I was the one. After a while, the other siblings lost interest, but I was the one who was doing the most heavy lifting with the games and stuff on the account. So I thought that it was fair that I would take that account, buy another one, and then the new account would be what anyone else could play on, would be what they used. So that's why if you check my Bed Wars stats, I have like a zero point 0.8 FKDR. I have like it's dude, the stats are abysmal, but it's hilarious. Like that's what I tell
Hmm.
everyone whenever they're like, "Wow, dude, your Bed Wars stats are trash." And it's because we used to just play 4v4 and 3v3 and stuff like that back in
Hmm.
the day.
Yeah. I do have a question about the Pocket Edition stuff. It sounded
hmm
like a roleplay server, your little survival. Did it also have like buildings and stuff with like a bank? Or was it just survival
we
with notes?
it was kind of okay, so it was just a general survival file. We all like made our own house and stuff, and we did have a bank. We had like a community nether portal that I think one person made, and then I think it was actually me. I think I made the nether portal, and then I charged people to enter the nether portal, but like everyone would just kind of like sneak by, so they wouldn't have to pay. There were we actually the main source of money was wood. Oddly, I don't know what it was, but we loved making wood farms then. So we just have like our own house and then kind of like a backyard area, and we would just like keep on like using bone uh bone meal to like spam trees. We'd break all the wood blocks, and then we'd like I don't know, like instead of diamonds being the overall currency, because we were like really young, so we barely knew how to get diamonds. Like there were like diamonds were a very rare commodity for us. Like there were only a couple like among everyone, because we were also on this very tiny island. Like it was well, not very tiny, but it was pretty small. It was just big enough for us all to like make houses on and stuff. So we didn't really go out too far because there was like an ocean that surrounded us, just like thousands of blocks long, until I eventually made like a minecart system, like a railroad system. But until that, like that's really all there was just kind of like trees and stuff. So that's kind of like what we bartered with. But I don't know if I really answered your question, but I just kind of added to the lore a bit, I guess.
Yeah. I was just curious if it was like an pretty much a roleplay server where you had to
Oh,
like
not really.
pretend. Okay. The
More just
diamond currency
survival.
thing. Okay.
hmm
The diamond currency thing made it sound like an RP server.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, there'd be like I'd draw up notes for like because diamond was the rarest thing, so that's like you do my chores for the entire day or like a week or something because they were that rare. But
Hmm.
typically we'd sell like apples or like stacks of wood blocks or like services, like maybe making someone's house or something, or like adding on to it, just something like
Yeah.
that, stuff like that.
Okay. Can you expand on the Hypixel stuff? Like, did you ever watch some Minecraft YouTubers play Bed Wars or something?
The funny part is I actually didn't. I was fully into Hypixel because of my older brother. I I was kind of like I was a pretty sheltered kid growing up. So my mom was like, no YouTube, no nothing like that. Like I remember I used to like sneak onto the one home computer when no one was down in the basement because our basement is kind of like I don't want to really say a man cave area, but it's where most of us had like our desks set up and we do school because we have a pretty large basement. So there's just that one home computer, and I would actually back in the day like I would sneak onto it and watch like Dude Perfect videos, like all the trick shot stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
And I'd have it muted, just like fully muted because I didn't want anyone to know I was watching YouTube. So I didn't end up watching YouTube until I was like 13 or something. So all of my motivation to play Hypixel just came off of like watching my older brother and being like, wow, this is pretty sick. Like you can do all sorts of mini games, you can do all sorts of stuff like that.
yeah. Hmm.
So, but once I started to be like, once I kind of like joined Discord and everything, once I was kind of in the community, then I started to watch YouTubers like Technoblade. What are some other ones? There's actually a really niche one that I watched. Like, there's this one channel called PDK Films. They do like dart gun stuff, but he has a side channel of gaming, and it's like Hypixel.
Hmm.
that one's really niche, but that's kind of how I got into the YouTube scene and everything.
Hmm. So on the family PC, when you were like under 13, what else did you watch? You said Dude Perfect. I'm just curious.
Yeah, I actually can't really remember. I just know it was pretty much Dude Perfect, and then it might have been uh that's honestly all I can remember. It was so far back.
Hmm.
I think that was it though, because I was like, wow, that's sick, bro. There are these people doing like trick shots, and I'm like, wow, I could never do that. Especially
Hmm.
that one video where like they're throwing the basketball off the multi-story tall building and it goes in.
Oh
Like
yeah,
that's just
like
wild.
mainstream.
So that's I was pretty obsessed with that as a kid.
Oh, like trick shots or like impressive videos.
Yeah, I actually had I used to it's a bit cringe looking back at it, but I had a couple videos of me trying to do trick shots and stuff because after watching Dude Perfect, like I wanted to do the bottle flip and everything. There's another channel called That's Amazing, and they kind of do like harder trick shots, but yeah, I would just kind of that's another way I spent my
Yeah,
free time back in the day is just doing trick shots and stuff. I didn't ever upload them because I didn't have access to a YouTube account, but yeah, they just be like in an album on my phone. I just kind of keep on trying to make harder ones and stuff.
yeah. At least you had like a semi legit hobby.
Yeah.
Also, when you had access to like to the PC when no one was home or doing whatever, did you get like a rush from it?
Um, Not really. I was kind of nervous every time I was watching like Dude Perfect because what I would do is I would like my fingers were literally hovering over the command and Q key in the case that anyone just like ran down the stairs. So it was well,
That's
obviously
wild.
it was exciting to watch the new Dude Perfect video or whatever, but there was also a bit of fear that like one of my siblings would catch
Hmm.
me and tattle.
This just sounds like porn.
Kind of, but more wholesome, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. It's more educational, I guess, or entertaining.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, when you turned 13 or whenever you had access to like YouTube full time, you said you like started watching Technoblade and stuff. Were you like fully addicted to YouTube at that point? Since you had like
Oh
these
yeah,
little
bro.
hits of dopamine.
When I discovered YouTube, dude, that's like all I would do during the day. I'd watch YouTube in the day. I'd be in my I've got like the way that my room is set up. It used to Now that my older brother has moved out because he's finished with college, so he's got his own job and he's living in a different state. But when it was us four, because there are four of us dudes, and then I have one sister, so all four of us would be in one room. So there'd be two bunk beds, and I would be in the top bunk bed, and I'd kind of have like not really curtains, but stuff blocking the view from the door. So I could basically just like watch YouTube in my bed and no one would know, which was ideal for me, obviously. So I would have like, I'd be listening like with headphones with like one ear over it, just in case like my mom did like a night checkup or something, because she did that occasionally. And if I got caught watching YouTube, then that'd be a couple, days grounded or
Hmm.
something. So, but I was always careful about that. But I watched like YouTube a lot when I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
younger, just because I'd never seen anything like it, and it was really cool, just like watching all the best players do everything. All the like the sense of community that came with it and stuff. That
Oh
was
yeah, for
really
sure.
that was really fun because I wasn't used to it, so it was more entertaining. Like all the videos, like nowadays, I'm kind of desensitized to YouTube. I still watch it a lot, but like I get caught up in the YouTube Shorts and stuff, so
Hmm.
I'm not as interested in the long form videos. But whenever I was a kid, I could get interested into anything. Like there's this one random video about XYZ in Minecraft. Oh yeah, I'm watching that all the way through without being bored any part during the video, just because I wasn't used to that. So I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
watching YouTube a lot when I was younger, and I was also homeschooled. So I did have a lot of time, free time, which I spent doing. Like my mom would always, she had this she has this Wi-Fi router, still does, and it can like monitor the screen time that you're on certain things. So it used to be way more extreme back when I was a kid, but whenever I was doing, it was either you get 1 hour of Hypixel a day, like 1 hour on the main computer, or you get 30 minutes on like a Nintendo DS. And and that was only for Fridays. when it was other days, it was hit or miss. Like even you get all your schoolwork done, still there's a chance you don't get to do any video games. But it was
Mm,
Fridays were always our video game day, so you get like an hour or like 30 minutes or something, which is because my mom did not think video games were good for you back in the
of
day. I mean,
course.
she still doesn't, but she kind of just leaves us to our own processes now. But
Yeah.
it would either be an hour on Hypixel or 30 minutes on the DS, and that's a kind of hopping into a different section of what other games I play. But I used to back in the day do on the DS like the OG Super Mario Brothers. I think it's just I forget what the game's called, but it's just like Mario Bros for the DS or something. So I have a
Hmm.
ton of like nostalgic memories because I used to play it as a kid.
Yeah.
But so I don't even really know what I did in my free time back then. Just like YouTube whenever no one was watching. School obviously, but I didn't have like a ton of school. I also like went out to play and stuff. Like I would do basketball with my older brother.
Hmm.
See what else did I do? I
Back
don't
when
really
kids went
remember.
outside.
A lot of it was kind of just like reading or sitting around.
Yeah. What did you read, if anything
I read
specific?
the Harry Potter books, like 1 through 7. I read this one. Okay, this one is really niche, but I read the Henry Huggins series. I don't know if anyone watching right now has read those, but if you have, shout out to you. Um, those were pretty good back in the day. It's about like this boy and his dog, and he kind of like goes on adventures with his dog and stuff. And I really liked that. But let's see, Harry Potter, that. Then there was um, Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. And eventually down the road, like I had this one school subject called omnibus, and it would require you to read like a ton of like just random books as part of the syllabus, like old Greek philosophy books, old history books. Dude, it was terrible, bro. I had to read like Herodotus, a Greek history, which is like a 900-page long book just about the history of like um, Greek. And then there's Livy's history of Rome. Dude, that one was dude, half the time I was reading through the pages, I would get to the end of the page and be like, "Man, what did I just read?" Because I was so bored. But dude,
Yeah.
I read a lot later on, like in my teens and stuff, because that's when this school program started picking up that one course. But before that, I kind of like read whatever was at the library. I read a lot of Diary of a Wimpy Kid books. Let's see what else. There
That's
was this
fine.
one like I used to be really into animals, so I would like pick out a bunch of animal books and stuff.
Hmm.
Then there's like the Guinness World Record books. I would just read those for fun. I used to go to the library a lot with my mom, so I just kind of like pick out a bunch of books for the week and then read those. That's probably looking back. That's probably what I did most of my free time is just read because
Yeah.
I wasn't allowed
Touch.
to be on the internet.
Yeah, yeah. Makes sense.
Hmm.
So whenever you have like full access to YouTube and stuff, did you just like quit reading and stuff and like
I
going
kind of
outside?
did. Sad. Yeah, I should start reading some more books, but what I've been doing, I don't really read. I kind of listen to audiobooks. So I have like a 30-minute drive to my college as well as my work. So I'll like play an audiobook on the drive, and you'll be surprised how fast you can knock out some books like just by just listening to them an hour a day.
Yeah.
I re-listened to all the Harry Potter books because yeah, I wanted to reread them after reading them
Hmm.
as a kid, and they did not disappoint. The movies are okay, but the books are where it's at. So
Of
there's
course. All
also
the
another
lore.
series. Yeah, there's also another series called Artemis Fowl, which is about kind of like a boy genius, and he resorts to like not really a life of crime, but you know activities that the average boy wouldn't be able to do. Like I think it's he steals gold from the fairy people. That's kind of what the book is around. Is there's like this other species of humanoid creatures that live like under the Earth's core, and he goes on adventures and stuff and does that. It's a really good read. I didn't
Yeah.
do it justice in explaining it, but that's
It's
another
fine.
good book that I re-listened to the audiobook form in.
Hmm.
Just stuff like that.
Yeah. Audiobooks count as, well, not reading, but experiencing a book or experiencing a
Yes,
story.
yes.
So I wouldn't say you quit reading, kinda.
I would say so. Yeah, I should get into reading again, but you know, That's what everyone says, but they don't ever end up getting into it. So I don't know. I don't think
Of
I will,
course.
but I know that I should.
I'll go to the gym tomorrow. Tomorrow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I guess a way to like repair your attention span and everything. Like, I mean, let's be real. It's definitely more beneficial to sit down and read a good book instead of like
Yeah.
scrolling YouTube Shorts or TikTok or Instagram Reels.
Yeah, it also helps your creativity since you're reading like these detailed stories with unique
Yeah,
environments and you're learning more
that's another
words.
thing that I was really captured by because whenever I read the Harry Potter books a while ago, so not a while ago, but when I read them back as a kid, like everyone imagines the scenes that a book portrays differently. Like it'll say with a mossy stone floor and a dark dungeonous atmosphere or something. Like everyone interprets that a bit differently. But I actually remember once I was re-listening to them recently, I actually remember what I envisioned the atmosphere as a kid all the time ago, which was really like, wow, that's crazy that maybe most people don't remember that, but it was crazy that I actually got to like see and feel the book how I did when I was younger because I
Mhm.
remembered the atmosphere I was thinking of. I remembered, what all the people looked like, stuff like that, which was just
Yeah,
an interesting experience.
truly.
Hmm.
Yeah, books are surprisingly powerful.
Oh yeah,
It is interesting how reading a few fucking lines of text and suddenly you're like in this dreamlike sequence in your head with
yeah,
imaginary characters
exactly.
and stuff. It is pretty cool. And obviously it's actually
Hmm.
helpful to you mentally.
Yeah, helping with like you were saying, creativity. Um, I would say attention span, stuff like that. Yeah, books are good. Everyone should
Mhm.
start reading books. Even I say that even though I don't read them, but
Yeah. Yeah, the only reason I asked about the private school thing or homeschooled stuff is because in public schools, you really can't do much if you're like addicted to vaping or YouTube. Obviously, you have to like sneak
yeah,
out and like take a little puff in the bathrooms.
yeah, do that in the bathroom or something.
Yeah. But when you're homeschooled, it's like, I feel like there's more bait. There's like more pressure. It's like right next to you to like watch everything
Yeah,
or do whatever you want.
I used to be like pretty on top of everything. Like I got good grades and
Okay.
stuff, but like I don't know what it was back in the day. Like I think I've been recently diagnosed with ADHD, so it's harder for me to focus on stuff. But back in the day, that was never really a problem for me. Like
Really?
maybe it was just because like my mom was really on top
Actually
of me all the
strict?
time. So that's probably what it was because I don't think you can really develop ADHD as time goes on. But all the stuff like YouTube, that was never too big of a problem because I'd kind of just finish my homework for the day and then I'd watch it. But
Mm-hmm.
nowadays I do struggle with procrastination. So,
It does make
mhm.
sense. Even if you had ADHD at the time, you were taught how to do something properly. Like your mom being strict about like YouTube and Hypixel and all that stuff. So you kind of just
Yeah,
adapted.
I say this as a joke, but she was kind of like an Asian mom, but
Yeah.
American. Yeah,
Actually
I feel
experiencing
like
life.
I kind of missed out a bit because you always hear people like, "Oh, I used to watch Beijing Canadian and Sky Does Minecraft," and like they talk about that so nostalgic. But I never really got into the YouTube scene until after like all those kind of
Mm-hmm.
old gen creators were not really done, but they were kind of like out of their golden era.
Yeah.
So like I watched Technoblade. I want to say I don't remember the first Technoblade video I watched, but he was kind of already like growing out of Hypixel from Minecraft Monday and stuff. So I never really got to watch any of the good YouTubers like in their golden era.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's kind of like cartoons, I think, because you just get hooked
Yeah.
on it the first second you see
Hmm.
it and you never stop until you're like 15, 14, whatever.
Hmm.
Similar effect, I probably would assume. Anyways, let's just move on to the MacBook experience. So, do you want to quickly explain the problems and just your general experience with the MacBook?
I'll start back in the day because it used to be one home Mac computer, and then my parents got a second one, and I played off of that for a while. Typically, I was just doing bed wars on that, and playing Hypixel on a Mac actually works pretty well because so first I'll just go into the most common problems I have on my MacBook, which is number one, the fact that my current MacBook, it has the M1 chip, so it runs 1.8 pretty well, so that's not a big issue. But the big issue is the fact that it has one charging port and then two USB-C connections. So typically a mouse and a keyboard are all USB, just like a typical USB, and they don't plug directly into my computer. So what I actually have to do is I have to get a USB-C hub or something. So it basically connects to my computer directly, and then it has two USB ports, and then you can plug your like mouse and keyboard into them, and that works. But the only issue is there's like a decent, not like decent, but there's a bit of latency. I want to say it's enough to where you'll notice it, but it's not enough to where it's like unplayable. So when I was grinding for Combo Grandmaster, like that game is like all about just aiming and CPS. So like, I'd click a decent amount, but my aiming was always off. So every time someone would strafe with like the speed 2, it's just really hard to predict that with like the mouse latency. So that's probably the biggest problem for me playing on Mac OS. But second to that, well, I guess on MacBook, but second to that is probably just like Lunar Client, because Lunar Client it's not amazing with Mac OS software. Like it works, especially it works decently on 1.8, but on 1.16, like anytime I'll try and hop on like MCC Island or just like speedrun for fun, which I don't do a whole lot anymore. But anytime I'll do that, it's hard to describe. But basically, what it does is it crops off parts of the Lunar mods. So like you go into the Lunar mods menu, and typically when you're in full screen, the Lunar mods take up about like a fourth of your screen or something, and they're centered into the middle of your screen. So you just scroll through them, you select different mods and stuff. But for me, because of the way that full screen works on Mac, it's weird. Um, it like the Lunar mods will actually take up your entire screen and a bit more because it's all like off centered. So it'll like be to where like the Lunar mods are like pushed into the right part of your screen, like, and some of them are cropped off. It's all really weird. I've sent a couple like messages to Lunar Client about that, but I haven't got any responses because I'm sure it's fixable. But so that's another one. That's another issue I run into when I'm playing newer versions. Although it runs pretty cleanly on 1.8. But another thing I've noticed is whenever I'm full screen into Minecraft, um, because I'm playing on a MacBook and not a PC, the battery runs out. So sometimes I'll like literally be doing a game, and my MacBook will just straight up run out of battery because I forget to plug it in. Because like when I go to college and stuff, I always bring my MacBook with me. So when I like prop it back down on my stand at home, like there'll be times where I just forget to plug it back in. Like even if it's at 80%, if I'm playing for like 3 hours, the battery will just run out. So I've actually lost 2 or 3 like decently high parkour duels win streaks to that. There was one time where I was on like a 250 win streak, and my computer just died because whenever you're full screened into Minecraft, it does not alert you that your MacBook is low battery. I don't know why that is, but it just doesn't, and it's really annoying because like typically when you're on just like the desktop screen, like you can obviously hover over your battery. Like right now mine's like 50 or something. But once you get into 20%, it'll like pop up an area. It'll pop up like a battery message that goes over whatever programs you're running. But whenever you're full screened into Minecraft, it just doesn't do that. So I
Hmm.
lost that 250 win streak one time. And then I think I lost like another 200 win streak that time. And like, I mean, it's partially Mac OS's fault for that, but also I'm kind of stupid by not remembering to plug my computer in all the time. So it's kind of errors on both ends. But that's
Yeah.
another error that I kind of run into sometimes. Um, that's pretty much it. Other than just like
Hmm.
general errors every once in a while. Like my Lunar client, thankfully, it has never crashed once on me. Like I don't know
Hmm.
why that is, but I hear people like on PC saying like, "Oh, like Lunar client crashes very rarely for me," but for me, it's like just never crashed. So
Wow.
that in that feature, it is actually better. But you have all these other like weird errors and stuff, which kind of make it annoying. Like with the non-centered screens and stuff,
Yeah.
non-centered mod menu, just other random bits and bobs. But the biggest issue for me is just the latency in my mouse and keyboard. Keyboard I don't notice as much, but the mouse I definitely notice. Like whenever I swapped over to MacBook from Mac, because the mouse directly plugs into the Mac computer, there was like no latency on the mouse. But once I swapped over to MacBook, I'm definitely noticing like I would guess maybe like 50 milliseconds. Nothing that crazy, but it's enough to where it'll throw off your aim for sure.
Yep. And have you tried using different clients?
Yeah, I could try that, but I mean, Lunar Client, I really like Lunar Client. Like I'll deal with all the little issues and stuff because I'm just so used to the software. Like I've heard people get more FPS on Badlion, but I don't know. I've been like using Lunar Client for as long as I can remember, so I'll just stick with it.
Okay. Next
Also, aren't they doing
question.
something like real
Yep.
quick? Didn't like Lunar Client acquire Badlion or something? Did you
Oh
hear about
yeah.
that?
Yeah. That was a while back.
I wonder how that'll affect it. Like, are they gonna just keep them both separate, or I don't know.
Yeah,
That I'm
probably.
interested to see how that rolls out.
I mean, it's kind of like IRL food companies. Like one company owns
Hmm.
like 50 companies, and they're all
I guess
separate
so. Yeah,
still. Yeah, I guess
that
that's
makes
the
sense.
case probably.
Hmm.
Okay, next question within the MacBook question, obviously. Have you thought about
Hmm.
moving to Windows, like getting a new laptop or even a PC, like after you finish
Yes,
college?
I have. So right now, um, I was originally planning on buying a PC last summer, actually, but I wasn't able to because I had a lot of unexpected expenses that popped up, such as like books and everything for college. And then, bro, my car insurance has been crazy high. Like, my mom has me on some sort of family plan, so I think that's what's raising it. Like, I don't have a crazy good vehicle, but like my my car insurance is quite a bit, even though I haven't gotten in a crash or anything. So that's another one of the things I'm paying for right now. Um, Basically, it's just all about money. Like I actually, whenever I thought I could afford a PC last summer, I bought a case, but I didn't buy any of the other parts. So I literally just have like a big old PC case up in my like my attic, and it's just kind of sitting there until I get all the parts and everything. So I definitely will get a PC, but it probably won't be for a little bit because I just finished my freshman year in college, but next semester, like after summer and everything, I'm going to be studying abroad. So that also costs quite a bit extra, like even after my scholarship. So I'm going to be paying a decent bit out of pocket for that. So that's kind of what I'm working for this summer. But then hopefully next summer I'll be able to buy a PC because I want to spend at least a K or two on that. I want like a good PC that'll last me a while, but I don't know how much more expensive it'll be, like with tariffs and just prices and everything. Like it all really changes.
Yeah.
So hopefully I'll get one next summer. But that's the idea. But you never know with the
Hmm.
economy.
Yeah, that makes sense. Oh yeah, so back to the MacBook stuff. Do you play any of the games? And if so, how do they run? And is that a game that you actually want to play really badly?
Yes. Okay. This section could be pretty long for me, so I'll keep it somewhat brief. But for I play, I'm a big Nintendo head, so I'll play like lots of Nintendo games because my family has a Wii U, so we do Wii games, Wii U games, and then I bought a Switch a while back, so I play, like all the Mario Karts, Super Smash Bros. I'm big into those. Like every time I'll have some friends over, we'll run Smash Bros. Tournaments because we're really into that. Um, I also two games that I played recently because of I'm good friends with Jack O' Lantern, and he recommended Celeste. It's like a platformer, an indie platformer game, and bro, I tell you what, it is so much fun. Like I really like difficult games, and I would call Celeste pretty difficult. Like the mechanics of it are very fluid. They're very they're very intuitive, and it's very fair if it makes sense. Like every time you mess up, you don't get mad at the game. You're just like, dang it, I could have done that a bit better, or I could have timed that a bit better. Like
Also,
the
it's skill
mechanics and the
based, not
actual
RNG.
parts of the games. Yes. Yeah, no RNG, which is nice. But Celeste, I've been playing that a lot. That's I have that on my MacBook, so it's downloaded on Steam. So literally anywhere I go, whether I have Wi-Fi or not, I can just pop open Celeste, which is a lot of fun. Like there will be times when I'm working, like if I'm working a closing shift, like I am tonight, we'd never really get any customers at where I work nighttime. So I'll literally just play Celeste at work on the clock, and my managers don't care because like I don't have anything better to do. But Celeste is a big one. I also play Hollow Knight. I got into that because of another one of my Minecraft friends, Cosmos. He recommended that to me. I also have an IRL who wanted me to play Hollow Knight really badly. It's a indie Metroidvania, which a Metroidvania is kind of like the game Metroid, how you scroll left and right, and once you get to the end of a room, it's just a passage, and then it'll unload the area you're in, and it'll load the area you're now in. So it's like mini rooms that are separated by kind of like doors. So it's a really nice game. It's got great art style. The combat is really fun, and it's also there's a decent bit of platforming like challenges in the game. Like it has a crazy high skill ceiling, but the game is tons of fun. I would totally recommend it. And the
Hmm.
sequel to Hollow Knight called Silk Song is coming out in 2025. So I'm on the radar for that, and I'll play that as soon as it drops.
Yeah. What about any like AAA games where you actually like require a decent PC or specs?
Not really actually. I just mainly play Nintendo games and then kind of like those other indie games in Minecraft. Like my younger brother actually, he's got a PS5, so he plays like Red Dead Redemption, Ghost of Tsushima, a bunch of other those like common AAA titles,
Yeah.
GTA 5, all that stuff. And I've actually never played any of them before. I've heard they're really good games, but I'm kind of just more into the indie like platformer
Hmm.
games like that. Like the closest thing I've played, I think, would be like Breath of the Wild. I don't know if that's a AAA or not, but I know it's like almost was Game of Year or it was Game of the Year or something. But that's a really fun open world game I played. So
So you mainly just enjoy low spec games, right?
say so, yeah. Especially because like having just a Nintendo Switch and then a MacBook, like it's really hard for me to run those like intensive games like Red Dead 2 or GTA 5 or stuff like that.
And obviously you enjoy the graphics too, like the pixelated style theme.
Yeah, yeah. Hollow Knight has more of Celeste is like 8-bit kind of,
Hmm.
and it still has a really nice, like beautiful background and atmosphere and everything. But Hollow Knight is more of like a hand drawn game. Like you have like all of these like animations and stuff that were hand drawn, and they're really nice. But it's not the type of quality like um, Ghost of Tsushima or let's see what's another like Elden Ring or something. Like they're
Yeah, yeah.
different types of qualities, but they're still really nice.
Okay, let's move on with the IGN slash name history. So how did you come up with
Okay,
your IGN bloodflows? And
okay,
also explain your
okay.
previous IGNs.
Yeah, yeah. I'll start from the beginning. So this account, Bloodflow's account, used to belong to my older brother because he was the one who got it on Hypixel and everything. Bought the Java account. So his favorite animal were mooses, or well, I don't know what the plural form of that is, but definitely not meese. But you know, he really liked mooses. So he named the account Sniper Moose. A bit of a play on words. So that was originally what the account was called. And then once I acquired it, I renamed it to Super Tricker FTW, which was just like like a little kid kind of weird little name that I had. I named it
Yeah.
after my stuffed animal. This is going into a lot of lore, but I named it after my stuffed animal, like a stuffed dolphin, because dolphins are my favorite animal. But I named my dolphin Tricker for some reason. So it's kind of based off of that. And then the FTW is for the win. So, and then after I changed it to Super Tricker FTW, I changed it back to Sniper Moose because I was like, that's a cool little name. Then I changed it to Sweat Toggled, SWEQT instead of an A because the A was taken. And that was around the time that I was watching a lot of Speed Toggled because once I got into Hypixel, I did a lot of Bed Wars, and then I really got into the duel scene. And I actually started as a bridge main, So I was watching like Bucky Bar, Cheetah. Um, I was watching Speed Toggled as well. So that's kind of where the toggled came from. And I kind of wanted like my own little first part of it. So I was like, what's like a good word that goes with toggled? And I was like, oh, I maybe sweat toggled. Like, like, oh, this game I'm really toggling, going hard on you or whatever. So that's kind of how I came up with that. I obviously look back and I'm like, that's a pretty cheesy name, especially the one that follows it. Then I came up with the name Hard Toggled, like I'm toggling, going hard on you. But it
Yeah.
also has like a bit of a different, connotation if you think of it that way. But I actually came up. So I was originally trying to snipe the name Reapable, but that one I just missed out on. So I kind of had to think of something else. So that's why I came up with Hard Toggled. Then I came up with, this is probably the cheesiest one. It's called Introvertings. That one's just cheesy. I don't want to ponder on that one too much.
Yeah.
But then I went back to Hard Toggled. Then it was kind of the Halloween season, so I went from Hard Toggled to Spooky Toggled, just kind of making it like festive, but Halloweeny. Then I went back to Hard Toggled, and then I was like, okay, I'm kind of the Hard Toggled isn't a great name, so I kind of started searching for other names, and I stumbled on one that was Bloodflows. So I kind of just copped it. I was like, okay, that's a pretty good name. I had already been in the community for a while, so people didn't recognize me at first, but like there are still probably a select few people who know me as Hard Toggled, but nowadays most everyone knows me as Bloodflows. So I'm glad to have made the change and
Hmm.
now be known as that instead of Hard Toggled. So that's kind of how I came up with that. I was just like searching across Name MC for like decent names that weren't taken, and that's how I found Bloodflows.
Hmm. So you didn't like come up with it. You just kind of found it on the available list.
I kind of came up with it a little bit. I was like, okay, oh, Bloodflows, and I searched that up, and it wasn't. I actually originally searched for Bloodflow, and that one was taken. So I added an S onto it, and I was like, okay, that one's not taken.
Hmm.
I'll use that. But that one has a bit of lore as well, like why I chose Bloodflows. I'm actually funnily enough, I'm very squeamish around blood. I've having to give blood a couple of times, and like all those times I've passed out while giving blood. It's kind of funny though, because my name is Bloodflows, but yet I'm like very squeamish around
Yeah, yeah.
blood. So that's a little bit goofy.
I mean, it's a nice IGN. It sounds nice. It
Hmm.
looks nice.
Yeah, I was trying to get into contact with the original owner of the Bloodflow name account because I was like, okay, that'd be a bit more clean. Like
Hmm.
Bloodflow is the actual word, but Bloodflows is kind of like it's more of an action. So, but I tried to
Yeah.
contact him, but he hasn't like touched Minecraft since like 7 years or something. So, I think there's a scarce chance I'll get the other name. But I mean, I kind of like that my name is stuck as Bloodflows. Like I don't mind. It'd be not weird, but it'd be more. People would be more used to it if I didn't like chop off the S. So
Yeah. It's pretty much a brand now.
yeah, I'm happy where I'm at.
Let's move on to guild history and also share any funny stories if you have any.
Okay, so for my guild history, um, it starts with like the beginning journey of like me playing Duels. So at first, I got into Bridge because that was the first game that I ever played in Duels was Bridge Duels, and I believe that was because I was watching like tons of YouTubers like Cheetah. I don't know if Bucky Bar was a thing back then, but I watched him later on. I think it was Cheetah who got me into Bridge Duels, but I started with Bridge Duels, and then after grinding that for a little bit, I joined like a bridge guild because I like had enough wins and whatever. So I joined the bridge community. I don't remember exactly which bridge guild it was. It might have been like Spawn Block or something. Or maybe I just joined that one later on, but I forget. So anyway, I joined a bridge guild, joined like the Discord, and I would run like twos with people to like grind. I would just kind of hang out and duel other people as well just to get better. But that was the very first guild that I was in. I don't have any eventful stories or anything in that just because it was quite a long time ago. So I don't even really remember what I was doing in there except for those things. But once I kind of got out of bridge duels and I got into like classic duels because that was like the next game mode that I started playing. After I got into classic duels, just from like playing people in queue, like I would queue Jack o' Lantern a lot, and I was like, bro, who is this kid? Like he's cracked because I was pretty terrible when I was starting out doing classic and bridge. So eventually I was like, are you in a guild? Like I just asked him in queue or something, and he was like, yeah. And then he told me the win requirement. So I started grinding more classic duels, I think it was, to get into Rod Guild because as well as Jack, there were like a ton of other good um, Rod PvPers who I queued in classic who just like destroy me. So eventually, after I got enough wins, I joined Rod. I think that was maybe like 10K requirement or something. So I joined Rod, um, and then I started like really maining classic duels. So I would play with a bunch of other people, stuff like that. And after a while, I forget at what time. At this point, I was kind of like guild hopping a little bit. So I stayed in Rod for like a couple months. And then I believe I swapped to Solar. So I don't have any eventful stories for Solar. I don't even really remember my time there. I just know that I joined at some point. But this was kind of in my guild hopping phase. So like I joined Solar, and then I joined after that, I think I had like a decent amount of duels wins and stuff. I think I was around like 40K. So left Solar, joined Rebel, and Rebel has like this whole like application process. It's pretty interesting the way they do it. But to get into Rebel, you have to like they have like a Google sheet, and you have to like fill out a bunch of information and stuff. Which to my information, they're like the only guild that does that. But seeing that they're like number one or two for all time guild experience, I guess it makes sense. So I filled out that. I got accepted, and then I joined that guild, and I was kind of just chilling in Rebel. Like I didn't do much with the community. I felt kind of like isolated because a lot of the people in Rebel, like they just do like Skyblock or something. Like the chat isn't all that active because it's a bunch of like AP hunters, questers, um, Skyblock players, people like that, because they like grinding GXP and all sorts of different stuff. And no one there really did duels a lot, so I felt kind of like isolated, I guess.
Like
So
an
because of
outsider.
that, I eventually, yeah, kind of like an outsider. So after that, I kind of left Rebel. Um, I believe at this time, this was when I don't know if you know, but Shank Duels was like popping off because Rebel used to be like the number one duels guild, like in terms of just like active players and community and stuff. And then Rod kind of like died a little bit, and then Shank, led by I think it was like Fedora God was the GM, like the guild master. But I joined Shank because that was like the upcoming duels guild, and I want to say like 2023. I think that sounds right. But I joined Shank. I was there for quite a bit until it kind of died again. But that it was alive for a while. So after Shank died, I think I like rejoined Rebel. I don't know why, but I rejoined Rebel, and they accepted me again. And then after like 2 weeks of being in the guild, I was like, okay, I kind of remember why I left this guild earlier. So then I left Rebel, and then I went back to Rod, which I've been in ever since. But Rod Guild, there are a couple funny stories. Like there was
Yep.
one time. Okay, this is the most memorable story, and kind of like the most infamous story of like being in a Rod VC is so um there is or was a player on Classic Lifetime called like X Matthew or something. I forget how many wins he had, but he was like on leaderboard. So he had like I think it was like 80K or something. But so he's playing, and then one day he just like his account randomly just gets beamed. I think he just like did something dumb, clicked on a link or whatever, entered his information. Anyway, he made a stupid mistake, and his account got beamed. So at this point, um, we're like all of Rod is like just in the general VC. So Jack actually, after like Matthew like told Jack about it, like Jack o' Lantern, he invited he invited the account beamer to the VC. So it was basically like just 20 people in the VC, and we were all giving our like case for why he should give the account back and stuff. Like it was kind of like debate style. Like it was hilarious. So eventually, like the beamer, I think it was he was trying to sell the account back to Matthew for, if I remember correctly, it was like $120, which was quite a bit. But because I don't know how much like Hypixel accounts are worth, especially like Duels accounts. I don't think they're worth a whole lot. But considering that he had like a lifetime classic position, it was definitely like increased the value. So I think like they kind of bartered a little bit, and then Matthew talked him down to like 100, and like it was, yeah, it was so weird, bro. Because this kid, like the kid that beamed him, he was constantly like justifying. He was like, "Oh, I'm in a desperate situation. Oh, I'm not that bad of a person. Oh, blah blah blah," and like, yeah, I don't know. It was just funny. So anyway, Matthew talks him down as well as like all of us in the VC. We talk him down to like $100, and he's like, "Okay, send me the payment information." And at this point, like, I mean, you never really know if someone's going to scam you. Like, it's probably likely, but at the same chance, like, $100 to get your Minecraft account that you've been grinding on for 4 years, that's not a terrible deal. So, and this is where I think it was Spots was also in the VC, and the Beamer wanted like a Bitcoin or something. So Matthew literally like Venmo'd or PayPal'd Spots like $100, and then Spots just sent the Beamer like the Bitcoin or something. And at this point, like we're waiting to hear back from him to give the account details and whatever. And all of a sudden he's like, "Oh, I gotta go to bed." The Beamer is so, and it's sad, but he scammed him. So, but we were really hoping. Like Jack kept on DMing him and whatnot, and then he actually tried to beam Jack, but obviously Jack like it's pretty obvious when someone's beaming you, so he didn't fall for it. But yeah, it was a funny experience, but it was also sad because Matthew lost his account. But I mean, the whole community banded together and tried to get it back. So it was like a really kind of like unifying experience, and it was fun. So that's like the most memorable story I have in Rod. But other than just like chilling, stuff like that.
How did you guys try and get it back?
Hmm?
How did you get it back, or try to get it back at least?
Yeah, well, we tried to get it back, but we didn't end
how?
up doing it. He just scammed him for the account, so.
Oh, was it just a Bitcoin story?
Yeah.
Was that your attempt?
He took the Bitcoin and ran.
Okay. What did happen like after the scam? You said you and the entire like community tried getting it back?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we tried. Well, no, that was mainly just during the VC period.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we just all banded together, try and get it back, but we were unable.
Yeah, makes sense.
But yeah, we did our best, so.
So why did you only upload Parkour milestone videos and also explain the ending waypoint thing in your videos? Is it like a motivation for you like finish the game or something?
Okay, so I'll start with, I've wanted to upload like pretty much all of my milestone videos, but I kind of just okay, so you guys will see like after watching, because it'll have like my background footage in. Like MacBook footage is like, it's weird, it's wacky, it's bad quality. Especially because like the aspect ratio of MacBooks are, I think it's like 16:9. So whenever you record a video, like whenever you record your whole screen, it records in like 16:9 ratio. So when you upload it to YouTube, there's going to be like a black bar unless you like crop it out or you zoom in a little bit or you stretch it or something. Like it's always weird. So for my parkour milestones, I forget what exactly. I think I uploaded like, what was it, like Parkour Legend and then hitting the flower icon.
Yep.
I think that's what I uploaded. But the main reason I did that was because up to that point, I had like already grinded like Bo Spleef Grandmaster, like Classic Grandmaster, a bunch of other like pretty significant titles. But I was like I wasn't motivated to upload them because the quality always was like really bad. The footage was kind of weird. I didn't have any game audio. I still didn't in the parkour videos, but I kind of just had music in the background. So that's why I didn't really upload the other ones. I just wasn't motivated and the quality wasn't good. But specifically for the parkour ones, like the quality was also bad, but like it was a more significant milestone. So that kind of gave me like more motivation to upload about it. And in an ideal world, I would have like made a video on every like Grandmaster title, like getting like like I would have made like a small video of me hitting Grandmaster or like the color requirement for most titles, which is like 2,500 kills or something. But I just didn't because I kind of got lazy and the quality on my MacBook is really bad. So I didn't want to upload just like a terrible video. I'm planning on um, uploading like a montage or something for because I've already gotten all icons and all um, colors, but I'm planning on like getting a bunch of clips from all the individual game modes and stuff, and then turning it into like a montage, kind of like what All Shark Boy did when he hit all colors and icons. Because like that's the most significant thing I've ever done in Duels. Like only 5 people have ever done that, I think it is. So well, actually all 6, counting Navi who got that recently. But so yeah, like that would be a video I would definitely want to make because that's like my magnum opus of Duels, essentially.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Okay, and
Especially
the ending
like
waypoint.
Mhm.
Oh, go ahead.
the ending waypoint. What about that?
What is it like
Like
motivation for you to finish the map, like in your videos?
oh,
Scoring
okay,
waypoint,
that's
final
what okay.
checkpoint.
So the
Yeah.
yeah, okay, so the waypoint like most parkour players, they actually have that there for a reason. And it's because in parkour duels, there are 8 rooms. So um and the checkpoints like per room vary. So you can't just like calculate which room out of 8 you are in due to checkpoints. Like sometimes there will be maps that literally have like only 17 checkpoints and maps that have like 22 checkpoints. So there will be a time where you get to like room 6 and you're already on like checkpoint 7 or something. Sorry, 17, and you're like, "Okay, this is the last room." So then you use your boost expecting for the end of the level just to be there. But it turns out you go from room 6 to room 7 and there's a whole other room. So basically, whenever you see how many meters you are away from the final pressure plate, it basically just tells you, okay, I'm like this many rooms away, so you can like use your boost most effectively. So that's like the reason. It's actually like more of a
Mhm.
like just
To
more of like a
optimize the
skill
gameplay.
thing. Yeah, yeah, more optimizing. And then just for
Mhm.
the last game I had, I just put like Parkour Duels icon or something unlocked. Just I don't know, I just changed the waypoint name. But before it was always just like end of level or something. I just did that for fun.
Okay, that makes more sense. Would have been funny if it
hmm
was for motivation.
Yeah, and like more like just of a theatrical aspect because
Yep.
it's like, I spent 2,499 duels getting here, and then now I'm like 350 meters away and counting.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was a little bit of both.
the final journey, pretty much.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. That's about it though.
Mhm. So when did you decide to go for overall like GM titles? Since you do have Classic Celestial, what's the order in there?
hmm
Did you get like Classic Cell and then just dip, or what?
Pretty much. I started playing bridge duels as I said earlier. I got around, I want to say like Legend 4 or something, and at that point I kind of switched to classic duels. So I basically only did bridge, then I swapped to classic duels, and then I grinded classic for quite a while. Especially being in raw, that helped because like when you're around like a bunch of other classic grinders, kind of motivates you to grind as well. So that's kind of how that's how I continued doing classic. But I started classic for fun, and then just to kind of like get better at rod PvP, and then that kind of snowballed into me just going for like a big title. But so after I got, it was probably like Celestial. After I got Celestial, I pretty much just stopped doing classic. Haven't really touched it ever since. And then I started grinding other modes. I forget the initial motivation at first, but at first it was just like, okay, I obviously really like duels, but I'm kind of bored of classic duels in specific. And once you get Celestial, like Celestial is my favorite
Horror.
title, second to
Okay.
Grandmaster. So I didn't want to like Divine, in my opinion, this may be a hot take, but Divine is like just it's really ugly. So I wouldn't have wanted to grind another 25,000 wins just to get like an ugly title was kind of my justification.
So it was too
So
many wins for
I swapped
that
over.
title.
Say that again.
So you didn't want to grind Classic anymore because of the next title being ugly, and obviously you need
Yeah,
to
because
X
the
your
next
lifetime
title.
wins.
Yeah, yeah, because of that, and then I just kind of lost a bit of motivation. So it was a bit
Mhm.
of both. But after I stopped grinding classic, I finished up bridge, and then I got Bridge Grandmaster in that. And after that, I believe I went for, I think I went for like, okay, that's right. So at this point, between like classic and like I like grinded a relatively small count in like a bunch of other wins, nothing crazy. But like after classic and bridge and just a couple other miscellaneous modes, I had like 40k wins or something. So I was able to like change like the color of my title to like other stuff. So this is like where I first just started playing other modes, because when you have classic, all you have is, well, you have the classic title obviously, but as far as rewards go, you only have the classic icon, which is, I forget what it's called. It's like pointy star or something. So you have like the 1 star icon. Then you have like just a cow NATO kill effect. And so that's all I had. I just had the what is it? I had the celestial color title, and I wanted a different title, especially like when I like equipped my overall title, because it was just at 40k wins, I think it's still godlike, and I kind of dislike the godlike color, so I wanted to get a different color so that way I could like change my titles and stuff. So at that point, I think I went for the TNT color, because it's like a really nice, just dark red, and you can really like, I really like that color. So you can like change your titles, make them look dark red and stuff, which I thought was pretty cool. So I grinded 2,500 bow spleef wins, or like TNT wins, whatever you want to call it. Then I got the red title color, and I was like, okay, man, this looks really nice. And then I was like, but you know what else would look really nice? The OP title color, like the OP color, because that's aqua. And even I like, because Celestial is my favorite title. It's, sorry, I'm kind of losing my vocabulary. Celestial is my favorite title because of the color, and also just because it looks really clean. Like classic Celestial in all caps looks really nice. So I wanted to be able to toggle my overall title, like Godlike 4 or 5 or something at the time, to that aqua color. So then I grinded OP, got like 2,500 kills or whatever the requirement is, got the aqua color, and at this point I've got like 2 or 3 colors. I might have skipped over one because I was kind of just grinding stuff randomly at the time, and I don't remember the exact order I got everything in. So at this point I've got like 2 or 3 colors, and I'm like, you know what also would look really cool is like just a bunch more colors. So at that point I started grinding colors. So I think I went for actually combo color next, because I really liked the dark blue. So I grinded combo a bit, got to 2,500 kills or wins. I think it's wins with combo, but I got to like 2,500 kills or wins. Got the dark blue color. I was like, man, that looks really nice. I was like, you know what else would look really nice? And then that was my thought process for going for all the colors. Is I pretty much liked all of the colors except for, I want to say, Sky Wars and probably let's see, Sky Wars and then UHC, because like the piss color just doesn't look very good unless
Same with
it's
the
on the
green.
title like Grandmaster, in my opinion. Yeah, so UHC is the yellow and Sky
Mhm.
Wars is the green. The green, it can look nice, but it just looks really weird. It's just like a neon green. So I got neon green way later, as well as UHC color. Those were actually, funnily enough, like my 2 very last colors I ever got. Like I got boxing before that. I got even Mega Walls before I got like Sky Wars and stuff. So at this point, I've kind of made up my mind. I have like 4 or 5 colors. I've got a couple of icons. And I'm like, screw it. Let me just devote the rest of the like another year and a half of my time to going for all icons and colors. So I did it in a weird way. Most people will like take the path of least resistance, and they'll just go for 2,500 kills in all the modes. Get all well, not all the modes, but all the modes that have colors. So they'll get 2,500 kills in all the modes with colors, and then they'll tackle all the icons, because the icons are the hardest thing by far, because it's 5,000 wins in every mode, which is 2 times as many as it takes to get the color. But I actually tackled it a different way. I went like hardest first. So I went for all the icons first. So after I have like 4 colors, I'm like, you know what? Let me finish up combo and get the combo icon on that. Let me finish up OP and get the OP icon. So I kind of just went like that. So grinded a bunch of different icons and stuff. I probably have some screenies that I could find that show the order, but those have got to be like really old. So I didn't find those. So I went for like OP icon. I went for combo icon. I went for, let me see here. Went for like bow, did UHC, just started grinding all those. After I had most of the easy ones, except for Sky Wars and UHC, then I tackled like all of the top left game modes. So like the no debuff, the let's see, no debuff, boxing, stuff like that. So I grinded no debuff interestingly. So every Friday night, I would just kind of pull like almost an all-nighter and just grind a bunch of no debuff. So I would usually get like 200 wins a week. And I started no debuff like it took me about 6 months to get the title just because of how slow the queues are sometimes. But I just slowly grinded at it consistently. And I would play no debuff and then just do a bunch of other game modes on the days that I didn't do no debuff. Like I'm like an efficient grinder. So instead of going for just one title in specific, whatever is queuing the most, I pretty much just play, which is why it's hard for me to pinpoint exactly which icons and colors I went for in a row, because I tackled like so many at a time. So for instance, whenever I got to like having to grind combo and no, actually it was like whenever I was grinding Mega Walls and Blitz, that was one of the those were a couple of the last colors and icons I was getting. I would literally just grind Mega Walls whenever it was queuing, Mega Walls duels. And then whenever it wasn't queuing, I just do other modes, which can be a bit demotivating because it seems like you're progressing a little bit less. But I mean, really, that's just like some sort of psychological trick because you are definitely doing it the most efficient way possible. Because it would suck for me because of how much Mega Walls duels queue varies to just like grind all of Mega Walls, all 2,500 kills in a row. Like that's just not efficient because Mega Walls is one of the modes. I would say Mega Walls queues second to least out of every duels mode. Boxing is third. No debuff is probably like first or something. It's a close run between Mega Walls and no debuff. But anyway, like it's just way more efficient to grind Mega Walls casually. Like whenever the queue is kind of popping off, then you pop in for like 100 wins or something. Then you just play something else. Because otherwise you're gonna waste a lot of time just sitting in the queue. So that's kind of just how it happened. I just did a bunch of random game modes, said to myself, okay, I'm gonna get every icon and color, and I kind of just went for it.
Mm-hmm. And how important was dodging in all of this?
Oh, good point. I almost forgot about that because it's been a while, but I think it was whenever I've been dodging like I dodged ever since Lilith kind of came out, which I'm a bit ashamed to say, but I mean everyone did it. So I started around the time I was like classic godlike 3 or something like that. I would never like dodge to the extent that like other people did, but I kind of more just used it to like see how many wins the other player had, so that way I could like anticipate how good they were going to be. Like if there was someone with a crazy high win loss, crazy high amount of wins, I would dodge him. But even if they were like roughly my level, like still classic god, like I would face them. It was just nice to see like their win count beforehand. Because if someone has like kind of like a non-name and you go into the duel against like a grandmaster or something thinking they're a non, they're gonna like rail you in the first encounter probably. So it's like almost like a tool just to like know how many wins someone has. So that way you can like anticipate how good they are and how much like sweaty you want to play. So I
Mm-hmm.
basically dodged for like every mode, I won't lie. I dodged to get my parkour streak, which a lot of people called that cringe, and I would agree. But I dodged until it got removed.
Yeah, and it goes back to your efficiency playstyle, let's say, since you know when you have to actually try, and when you can just pretty much
Yeah,
AFK and hold
especially
W.
yeah, dude, especially like parkour duels. Like it's really efficient to dodge in parkour because if there's like some like turbo sweat, and they've got like they're like parkour grandmaster. They're just gonna rail you. Like there's no denying that they're way better than you, and you're gonna waste like 3 minutes keeping up with them because you have a win streak and you can't just leave and rejoin. So you kind of have to dodge in parkour if you want like a good wins per hour. I mean, genuinely there aren't a lot of sweats, but if there's like a day where a lot of them are queuing, then yeah, your win per hour rate is gonna suffer a lot unless you dodge.
So obviously you're getting all GMs, right? Eventually.
Yes. The plan, I'll tell you the plan right now. So I'm at like 4,200 Mega Walls wins. So as I said before, I like playing as efficiently as possible. So I'm kind of just grinding Mega Walls duels whenever the queue pops off. It's been hard recently because so they or Safi, however you say her name, she has been like grinding the hell out of Mega Walls. Like I think she got like 25,000 wins or something in the course of like not a few, but like a course of a couple months or something. Like she's been grinding like crazy. So usually she queues when I queue, so that also makes it a bit difficult for me to do Mega Walls. But I kind of just play Mega Walls whenever the queue pops off, and then whenever it doesn't, I'm going for UHC Grandmaster because funnily enough, I have no debuff Grandmaster, I have Boxing Grandmaster, I have all the difficult ones before I even have UHC Grandmaster. So that's another kind of strategy I did when I was grinding all Grandmasters is I just like went for the hard ones first. And I did actually kind of enjoy no debuff. Kind of enjoyed boxing. That one was a bit more painful, but because I don't know what it is with me, but I do not like UHC solos. I just don't. Because if I'm playing UHC, I either want to like really sweat and do sweaty games against someone, or I just want to like farm nons. But when you're doing UHC solos, like there's a big difference between the players that queue. Sometimes you'll be like facing a Nick who's like really good, and sometimes you'll just be facing a bunch of nons. And as opposed to like UHC twos, which I really enjoy, that's what I'm kind of trying to do right now. Is just play UHC whenever twos is queuing. So I've got UHC Grandmaster left to get, Mega Walls Grandmaster left to get, and then Parkour Grandmaster left to get. That'll be the most difficult one because I still have like 2,400 parkour wins to get. And at like, I don't know what the win per hour rate is now that it queues a bit less, but it's probably around like 14 or 15 something. So that's probably like, rough estimate, like 150 hours or something of parkour, which is quite a bit. But so I just have those 3 titles left to get.
Yeah.
And currently I'm preparing for the Duels update because once they release, okay, so they're going to release Spleef Duels, Bed Wars Duels, and then Quake Duels if everything goes to plan. So I'm going to be planning to race for all icons and colors again because once the update drops, they'll likely add icons and colors in those modes, as well as adding icons to modes which already don't have them. So, for instance, Sky Wars. I forget the rewards for Sky Wars, but it's like all you do is you get the color at 2,500 or something. Like there's no reward for Grandmaster, if I remember correctly, or at least there's no icon reward for it. So likely what I think they're going to do is they're going to add icons to the modes that don't already have them. So I need to prepare and get those in advance effectively. So that way, once the update drops, like I'm on an even playing field with All Shark Boy and M Creeper WL, all the other people who are gonna go for all icons once the update drops, because I'm gonna be racing them. Like I want to be number 1 to all new icons and stuff. I don't think that'll happen because I have like work and then I have a bunch of other stuff. So, but that'd be the idea.
And what are you going to do afterwards whenever you get all GMs and all icons?
Before the update, I'm going to actually that is a good question. I haven't really thought of it. I'm probably just going to take a bit of a break. Like I have a lot that I want to do IRL. Like obviously I have work. And then I want to learn like to play certain instruments and whatnot. So I'll probably just like take a break from duels and grind IRL a bit, you know. Just do stuff like that, you know, hang out with my friends, you know, just have a good time. But once the update drops, I'll grind all the icons in that, Grandmasters, and then I might do, depending on if they release Classic 2v2, which they should, I'll probably grind classic 2v2 a decent bit.
Any goals? Like top 10?
Oh, I forgot. Spleef, I might be going for lifetime on that. We'll see. But I know that I think it's like Helix 286 and Suzu J. I think they're both like trying to like instantly grind out Spleef as soon as it drops. So I probably won't be able to get number one, but I'll grind that a decent bit because I really like Spleef. I played it a lot on Mineman, and I assume the duel will be very similar on Hypixel. And I assume it'll also have like a decent wins per hour rate. So ideally, Spleef will actually become my main once the update drops.
Yeah, it is a
I'll
chill
go for like a
jewel.
lifetime spot on there.
It is a chill jewel, so it makes sense to mean it.
Yeah.
Okay, and what is your favorite jewel?
So for this question, I'll just say it off rip. This is a very difficult question. Like I don't actually know what my favorite duel is because I like so many of them.
You
Like
can list the
people
top
consider
three.
me
Top three
top three.
favorite and top
I
three
can
least
probably do
favorite.
top three.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like people consider me an alien because like I liked grinding boxing whenever there weren't sweats in queue. I liked grinding no debuff a lot actually. And I also liked like bridge and stuff, which a lot of people don't like. Like a lot of the classic mains, a lot of the other duels mains hate bridge, which is I guess understandable because it's very different. But I would say for my top three game modes, I am putting this. This isn't in particular order, but OP duels goes in there. Um, I'm also putting no debuff duels in there, and then for the third one, I am going to pick. Let's see. I'm gonna pick. Oh, this is tough. I'm gonna pick parkour. So top three modes are parkour, no debuff, and then what did I say? OP duels. Because OP duels
Yep.
is like the perfect combination of it's a rod game mode, so it's very high skill ceiling. You also have the speed, which is really nice because you have to have good aiming, and then you also have to like utilize your healing and stuff, not drop. It's just a really fun game mode. It's also really good to grind because you can get like 80 to 100 wins per hour if the queues are good. And usually it's not a bunch of people. It's pretty easy to streak in. So those are just added benefits. But that's why I like OP. It's also really fun to slash duel in. And then parkour. I love parkour. You probably already know that from all the grinding I've done in it. But it's fun because it's just such a different and unique duels mode. Like some people don't want it to be a duels mode, which I guess is fair because it's like not PvP at all. It's just movement. But it just has so many interesting strategies. Like it's the only duel which you can speedrun because there's like a timer in it. I mean, I guess you can technically like make a leaderboard for like beating other duels the fastest, but like speedrunning parkour duels just makes way more sense. So there's like a full-on like community and scene for speedrunning. There's like boosts, which takes a lot of game sense to use the boost. Sometimes like way more than you would think. It's not just like boosting on good skips. It's like timing and everything and like timing your boosts to where you'll get maybe 3 in a game instead of 2 or something. That depends a lot. And then just the movement is really fun. Like it's so satisfying to play parkour duels after like your movement is pretty cracked. It's just kind of indescribable. You just have to play it to feel it. But that's why I like parkour. And then lastly is no debuff. I don't even know. There's something so satisfying about farming nons because the wins are so hard to get. So whenever you get into like a good queue and there isn't like a bunch of people playing, it's really nice. The KB is a bit cooked. Like it's different than other modes. It's kind of just you're basically just like reducing off of your opponent. It's way different than boxing KB, even though you still have speed too. But I kind of like it that way. It would be way worse if it was like boxing KB. So those are my 3 favorite game modes and why.
Mm-hmm. And what about your top three least favorite modes to grind?
Ooh, that's a good. Okay, number one least favorite is easily UHC solos, and that's gonna trigger a lot of people probably. But I that's just my opinion. So least favorite is UHC solos. Second favorite is probably um bridge. I like playing bridge, but only casually. It sucks to grind because you get in sweaty games, you get in stuff like that. The win per hour is pretty bad. Like if I'm just sitting down to play bridge casually, I'll enjoy it because I don't mind sweating. But if I'm trying to grind, then it really sucks. So bridge is probably number two. But like overall, I do really like bridge. It's a good game mode. But just like talking about games to grind. And then third is probably let me see here. Third is probably Blitz. Blitz SG duels. Because with Blitz, you have to deal with so many annoying kits. There's Archer kit, there is Necromancer kit, there's ton of like scummy strategies people do. And like I tried to be a good person in Blitz. Like I wasn't Archer. I tried going Knight, and eventually I found Warlock, which is really good because it gives you a diamond chestplate, and you also get like strength pots. So that's eventually what I mained. But if you face like a sweaty Archer who's trying to keep their win streak, it's just so AIDS because they'll just be camping, trying to bow you. Obviously, you don't want to lose, so you're gonna like build blocks and just dodge their arrows. But they're just not gonna run out because they're full leather and you have a diamond chestplate, so you rail them in a melee encounter. So it's just like it's just sitting around doing nothing for 5 minutes whenever you face an archer. At that point, I usually disconnect unless I'm on a streak. But it's just so annoying. Like there's so many like gay kits effectively.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's kind of why I dislike Blitz.
Makes sense. So you
Mhm.
pretty much just have to wait for the border to come or disconnect.
Yeah, pretty much. Or you go,
Yeah.
well, there's some counterplay. Like if someone goes Archer, then you go Archer back. And because I grinded bow Grandmaster, I'm like pretty good with a bow. So usually I can like beat them at their own game. But if they get mad that I use Archer against their Archer, then they'll go armor and just camp the rest of the game. So it's yeah, you just have to like I don't even know. It's just annoying sometimes. But whenever the queue is good, it's fun to play.
And obviously Lilith helped with the kid thing. Since if you see
Yeah, I
Archer, you can
only
just
got to
dodge.
like uh-huh. I only got to 2500 kills with Lilith. After that I was on my own for the rest of it.
So you said before that you're gonna move abroad and do whatever for a year. Do you wanna expand on that?
Mhm.
Like,
Sure.
do you have any other plans in terms of education? You did say you want to learn an instrument as well, so
Yeah. So at the moment, I'm studying to be a mechanical engineer. So I go to like a local university. I'm a commuter, so I don't live there. I don't have like a dorm or anything. So I always have to put up with my siblings and stuff. But so that's a bit annoying. But it'll be nice because this semester, like the college I'm offering, they have a really good study abroad program, and I'll still be able to graduate in 4 years. Because it's summer, I just finished my freshman year, and people basically, I think most everyone does it in their sophomore year. So I'll be going next semester to the UK, and it's kind of formatted in a system to where like you travel a lot because they have class like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and they give you Friday and the weekends off. So you have 3 days to kind of travel each week, and there are also like week breaks sprinkled in. So that's basically what I'm going for is obviously like they offer the same classes I would take here if I still was in the US, but with that added like benefit of traveling and stuff. And I thankfully have a good scholarship that covers most of it. I'll still have to pay a decent bit out of pocket, but I figure it'll be worth it because I haven't traveled ever. I've just been well, not ever, but I haven't traveled out of country. I've always been stuck in the US. So it'll be fun to kind of just travel overseas, be on my own a bit, be independent. Because usually my mom is like pretty she's kind of like a helicopter mom. So it'll be nice to just get out of the house for once, live on my own a bit, and just travel, experience life, stuff like that. So I'll have a lot of fun with that. I think I want to say it's beginning of August to like December. So I'll get back before Christmas.
So when you say you have like a few weeks to like explore or travel, do you mean inside the UK or
Yeah,
like EU?
it can be, you can really go anywhere as long as like you get
Mhm.
back in time for classes. So
Yeah, but do you have
it's,
anything in mind specific?
yes. So I'll probably go to like France, probably Italy, places like that. I don't have it fully mapped out yet, but I'll be looking. It'd be cool to, I don't know how far like Greece is away from it, probably a decent bit, but it would be fun to go there, see all like the ancient ruins and stuff. Because I am pretty interested in like Greek mythology, so
Mhm.
that would be interesting. Just learn more about the history. I don't know, see like the Athena Parthenos. That might be. I forget if that's in Greece or Rome. I think it's in Greece, but yeah, tons of
Mhm.
cool
So just want to
monuments
see,
and history.
yeah, just want to see historical stuff. Probably the
Oh yeah,
culture of like Europe in itself.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We'll move on to hobbies.
hmm For hobbies, this summer I am ideally like like everyone's like, oh, I'll do this, I'll do that. So I'm planning on learning the piano. So my older brother, he played the piano because we actually have a piano in our house. So it's a pretty old-fashioned one, but I've always wanted to learn an instrument. I never had the well, I kind of had the opportunity, but I never really had that big of a chance to like um take classes or anything. So I'll probably just like use some sort of app or like look up tutorials online. But I do want to like at least know an instrument because like I'm really into music, like classical, all sorts of music. So it'd be fun just to be able to like I don't know, like compose my own music or something like that. And I really like the piano specifically. Like there are tons of songs that I want to learn. So that would be a great way to start. So instruments, um, work, other hobbies would be like hmm, like Legos. I'm big into Legos. I've got like a ton of Lego Ninjago sets because I was big on Ninjago as a kid. Did you I don't know, it did you what cartoons did you grow up watching or anything?
Too many. Too
Too
many.
many. Did you ever watch Ninjago?
Nope.
Dang it. Okay, it's a goated show, bro. I'm like I rewatched it recently, like as 18 and it still holds up to the hype. But
Oh yeah, of
so I
course.
had like a ton of yeah, so I have like a ton of like Ninjago oriented Lego sets as well as like Star Wars Lego sets. But
Hmm.
so I'll probably expand my horizon there a bit, maybe buy some more Lego sets, maybe sell some of the old ones, stuff like that. So Legos, I guess, are another hobby.
What's fun
And
about it?
then
Do you like collect it? Or do you only just like building
yeah,
it?
I collect, my siblings have Legos as well. So I'll play Legos with like my younger brothers and stuff. Like it's just a lot of fun.
Hmm.
We used to do kind of like uh how do I describe it? It's kind of like those old not old games, but like games where like you use figurines and like you'll paint the figurines and stuff and you'll like have an army and then you'll go up against someone else's army and you'll like attack and stuff and defend. We actually like made a couple of games where we do that with our Lego sets. So there would be like if you've got a big tanky like defensive Lego set, then you'd give that a certain amount of health points and stuff. Kind of like a turn-based um like a Lego game. I made that up with my siblings and we'd use our Lego sets to like battle each other and just fun stuff like that.
It's kind of like Dungeons and
So
Dragons, but with Lego.
yeah, kind of like Dungeons and Dragons, but like less story oriented and more just like rolling dice and stuff like that. That's a good way to describe it.
Yeah, so it's just pure action.
Yeah, pretty much.
Hmm. Anything else? Hobbies wise?
Apart from that, I can't think of too many other hobbies. If anything, it'd just be like minor stuff um like other video games. Like I play a lot of Nintendo games and stuff with my friends.
Hmm.
Smash Bros. I might try getting like more competitively good at Smash because that's a lot of fun.
Yeah, you could do that when you
Do you
quit
play?
Minecraft.
Mhm. Say that again.
You could do that when you quit Minecraft for a bit, like when you get all the
Yeah,
icons and
that actually
stuff.
might be what I do. Do you play any Smash Bros?
Nope. I play like shooter games
Dang it.
mainly.
Okay, I got you. I was gonna ask who your main was, but
Of course. It's always
mhm.
these questions. I mean, it's the
Yeah.
same in the
For any of the
5v5
audience out
games.
there, mhm. For the audience out there, I'm a Greninja main, which I think not looked on too downly. Like, at least I'm not like a Steve main or something. You probably wouldn't know like the lore of all the
Of course I wouldn't.
um like the scummy characters or like Steve is it's
Yeah, yeah.
hilarious that Steve like ends up being like the best Smash player of all time, like the best Smash character because of his moveset and stuff. But he
Mhm.
has like such a scummy playstyle. So if you play Steve, you're kind of like looked down upon.
Yeah, that's normal in these class-based games, I'd say.
Yeah.
There's always that
Mhm.
one frowned upon class or character
Yup.
who everyone just rages at if you pick him.
Oh yeah, because he's such like a defensive character. Like he has blocks. So basically, the strat as Steve is, you can actually mine resources. Like no other character can do that. So you basically get to like use your blocks as defense, like keep running, and then just like mine like diamonds and stuff. You upgrade your sword, and like when you have, I think you start with a wooden sword, so you can upgrade it to like iron and then diamond. And the diamond sword is just so broken in Smash Bros. Like you do so much damage. So you basically just camp, defend, and then you get good gear, and then you just fight the opponent. And it's kind of already over at that point. So,
Yeah, I can see why it's scummy.
hmm
I think that's it for the podcast.
I think that's about it.
Yeah, okay. Well, thank you for joining the 8th
No worries.
episode.
hmm
All right.
Thanks for having me, bro. I appreciate it.